Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Monday team call. I'm still getting used to the Monday at 11s. I will tell you, when I wake up on Monday mornings, I am ready to go at 9 o'clock. But I feel like that the time change is good for so many of you guys, and the fact that we're doing it after the gold standard call, it allows us to, I think for the most part, reduce the amount of time. Because I don't know about y'all, but like I just get off this gold standard call and just listening to those two guys that were interviewed today. I'm ready to go. Like I've got a couple of appointments set. I've got dials to make, and I am excited. It is Monday. So do want to do some recognition really quick. Our leaderboard this past week had 27 different agents go out and protect families. Let's identify and recognize the top 10. Casey Gregory went out and protected two families last week. I will let you guys know I sent Casey a text this morning because I thought it was pretty awesome, because I think he was in a hotel or an Airbnb all week. I know Anne Marie had a conference out of town, and so anyway, great job. Great job on staying focused. Number 9, Patty D. One of our top advanced market specialists went out and protected 3 families last week. Jimmy Pyron, 2 families last week. Jimmy Torres, 2 families last week. John Kite, I'll say John Kite OG instead of JK2, but John Kite OG, 3 families last week. Matt Pertusit, way to go, Matt, 2 families last week. Stephen Don, 1 family last week. Jason, what can Brown do for you? 8 families last week. Way to go, man. That's just awesome. I actually look at these top 3 and 8 families, 7 families, 8 families, just pretty incredible. So way to go, Jason Brown. Claudia Matthews, 7 families last week, and had an amazing weekend. I know she texted me and said, I'm counting them for last week because my goal was 10 families. So Claudia, you most certainly can. And way to go hit your goal. I love the commitment to goals. I love the commitment of thinking about them. And here's the thing, and don't take offense to this. Just change it if it's you. But it's like, I know most people, even people who say, hey, I want to succeed big time in my business. Okay, so number 1, have you given any thought to what your specific goal is this week? Like how many appointments are you going to set? Like do or die. Like how many appointments are you going to set this week? How many appointments are you going to do? Like no matter what, I'm not talking about if the week goes perfect. I'm talking about if your week absolutely sucks, how many appointments are you going to commit to? How many appointments are you going to be accountable to do this week? And then based on that, you can look at I think everybody should look at a 40% close ratio. I think as you get better, it's probably going to get up to 50% close ratio. But if your close ratio each week is less than 50%, then I would love to engage with you on that number. Okay. So think about your goals and write them down. Writing them down is a form of accountability, albeit to yourself. And then I think some leaders, based on their personality type, they go a step above and they actually reach out and they want to get in accountability with other people. That may be you. It may not be you. Okay. If it's you, then get in accountability with other people if you need that. If it's not you, then when you write it down, you know that you're so accountable to yourself. And if you would even go, I'm not telling you to do what I do. I probably went above and beyond. I probably went overboard on a few of those things, but I remember taking and putting my goal, and it was a bright green neon. And I guarantee you, Kim still knows it. Maybe she'll comment when she comes on the call here in a few minutes. But I remember taken, and I put my goals up in these bright green neon. I put one on the front of our refrigerator. I put one, and I don't think we've gotten it off to this day, but we had a big, beautiful mirror, and I actually put it on there, and it stuck. Like we tried to get, like it's like you can't the industrial stuff won't take it off. I don't know what happened to that, but be accountable. So set specific goals this week. I mean, you wouldn't leave for a trip, get in your car and just start driving. Where are you going? I don't know. I mean, you would go to some places, but I will tell you, for the most part, you might end up frustrated. So, okay, back to the leaderboard. How did I get off track going into my top two? So number 3, Jason, what can Brown do for you? Way to go, Jason Brown. 8 families help. Claudia Matthew, 7. Even though, Claudia, I know you helped 10. I know you got your 10 in, but based on our leaderboard, 7 families helped. You were number 2. And number 1 for the week, I'm smiling when I say this, Derek Uwazi. I love Derek's commitment, and just overall, I love Derek Uwazi. What a great example for all of us that we can go out and do great things in this business. So number 1 for the week, Derek Uwazi, 8 families help for $13,382. So Derek, you're number 1. I want you to put that Ric Flair robe on. I want you to walk around, and at the top of your lungs, I want you just to scream the Ric Flair woos. So way to go, man. All right. Last bit of recognition. Let me pull it up, see where I put it. Here it is. Okay. Sign up for conference. I'm going to put this on on GroupMe as well. John and Kim Kite, Casey and Anne-Marie Gregory, Lisa Kurtz, Lisa and Will Kurtz, Chris Bittinger, Elaine Capron, Sturgis Kidder, Jessica Farrell, Orlando Melendez, Randy Hinder, Josh Bishop, Constance Diane, and Brooke Pancoast. You guys are registered for Orlando Conference, and guys, our goal is to get we're going to dominate. We're going to have a ton of people there. I just know it. And so a lot of you guys probably just I'm going. Trust me, I'm going. I just hadn't registered. Get registered. Just love to recognize your name each and every week. So I put on, I'm just going to comment on this. I put on GroupMe this morning, kind of that getting started before you feel like you're ready. And I put a funny story. And listen, as I put that, I know that a lot of you guys, you can't relate to me, okay? You can't relate to my shortcomings and my failures. But I just thought it was kind of funny because I've never made a can of biscuits. Does anybody even make can of biscuits anymore? But I can't make a can of biscuits without, I dive into. I'm so ready to. You guys know when you put your thumbs on it and it pop. I love that. I could literally, if there was a job of opening up a can of biscuits and pop, and kind of like I feel like after I've eaten something I shouldn't, I feel like a busted can of biscuits. But it's like. So I can't wait. So I do that so fast. I get started in this process of making these biscuits, and then what do? I put them on the pan, and I'm like, okay, where does the oven need to be? How long do I cook? And so I'm always fishing back in the trash can, pulling off the wrapper and piecing it together. I didn't say that part, but if you piece it together, you can see the instructions on the can of biscuits. Okay. So the struggle is real. If you don't have that, if you've never fished out a wrapper out of the trash can of a can of biscuits, God bless you, but it is me. Okay. I may or may not have even done it yesterday, which made me think about it. Either that or Saturday. Can of biscuits. Okay. So getting started before you feel like you're ready. I will tell you, and I was actually talking to a new agent recently, and it made me think about this, but we have we create a lot of distractions. Like we have a ton of different carriers. I was talking to another new agent, and like they were telling me all of the carriers that they're appointed with. And I mean, literally, like it was like 4 or 5. And I'm like they were like, so I'm only appointed with these care, and I'm like, I'm looking at these, I'm like, oh my gosh, like he's appointed with 4 of the top rated carriers, and he doesn't feel like he's quite. And I'm like, look at all of the different like he has access to every single product that he needs to go out and make $1 million a year. So distraction wise, do we have too many carriers? It is Equus limits us until we write 3 or 4 applications. Equus limits us to 5 carriers. When you think about it, how distracting is that? What I'm voting for is we limit you to 1 carrier. And maybe it's an Americo, or maybe it's Foresters. I mean, like I've always loved Foresters. Outside of the new Plan Right application, I think the Strong Foundation app is the easiest app I've ever written. Now, the new Plan Right app, I think, is from Satan. I think it's literally from the pit of hell. And I don't mind saying that. But I'm going to say that, like, if you would simplify, I think we've got way too many carriers, way too many what you think are products, even though the Strong Foundation term and the Americo term and the Mutual of Omaha Term Life Express term, and all of those are the same product. It's like you think there's a difference between Chevy and Ford. It's like it's basically like what do you want on the front emblem? What do you want on the front of your client's policy? Like it's the same product. And so if you simplify, we've got access to rent a house. It's called term. How long do you want to rent a house for? 10 years, 15 years? Some even have, I think Foresters has 25 years or 30 years. Term insurance is renting a house. Or do you want to buy a house? It's called permanent insurance. It's also called whole life. Some people even call it final expense, but it's called permanent insurance. And here's what it's designed for. It's designed for people that are between the ages of like 70 and 85. Younger people that have major health, because when you look at whole life, so term on the major look backs, term has about a 10-year look back. Okay, so if you've had any major health challenges in the last 10 years, you ain't getting it on simplified issue. And fully underwritten is from the pit of hell too. Okay, I'm just telling you. Like I'm getting out of the fully underwritten. I don't care if I get a client today. Now, I'm sure Kim's laughing at me because she knows I'm weak in this. If I get the client who says they want a freaking $1 million or $2 million, I know it. I'm going to go back into the pit of hell, and I'm going to write another emeritus or another Transamerica term, and I'm going to go through 4 freaking months of doing work on getting paid on a $90. I know it. But for most of us, we do good to get out of that. But we do good to say, listen, I'm not in the business of you finding out that you've got a health issue with life insurance. I'm not into that business. I'm into the business of making sure you get covered. It's called simplified issue. And so if you would just simply reduce the distractions that this industry gives you, because this industry gives you reduce the number of distractions. You've got access to simplified issue, no paramed. You've got access to term. How long do you want to rent the house for? And you also think younger people that can't afford a lot. And number 3, for your older clients, you're thinking about universal life and or whole life. When you think of universal life, I know there's a lot of definitions out there for it, but here's the definition I want you to write down. It's permanent insurance for healthy people. So if you do have the 68-year-old or the 70-year-old that or up to 75 years old that they happen to be healthy, they haven't had cancer in the last 3 or 4 years. They haven't. In other words, you're monitoring the health, and it's a genuinely healthy person up to age 75. Then, based on you knowing that the minimum you can write is 25,000, so 25,000, and this is why I say it's for healthy people. Because with universal life, when you structure it to be permanent, which means guideline premium, okay, you understand that? Okay, so when you basically you can get 25,000 universal life for probably the same cost that people are getting 16, 17, 18,000 of whole life. So why is whole life so much more expensive? Because whole life was created to insure unhealthier people. Y'all understand? Y'all understand why whole life why it's more expensive? Because it's a simplified issue and it's designed for older people that have health challenges. So this industry, and I'll make my point and then I'll hush. This industry gives us distractions. We've got way too many carriers. We've got way too many products, and we don't simplify it enough. And I'm all for the next couple of weeks really doing a segment. Maybe I'll get some people on here to help me. But we'll do a segment on simplifying and kind of developing your company and your product and running with it. I'm all for that. So even further simplifying. So you're getting on the phone with people. You're calling them up. Now it's going to vary a little bit based on your lead type. But can I ask you to do this? Stop trying to sell. Stop trying to be the insurance answer man or answer woman. And just get good at asking this question. What are you wanting to accomplish? Number one, what are you wanting to accomplish? Number two, what would happen if you didn't have life insurance? What would happen if you died yesterday? What would be the reality of it? Can you tell me a little bit about, what I want you to do is I want you to get out of selling and I want you to get into asking more questions about where you can define the real reality of if somebody passes away, do you have kids that are still dependent on you financially? How would it look if they didn't have you to say, hey, Mom, can you put $100 in my checking account? Hey, Mom, can you help me? Can you help me make my car payment? Hey, Mom, can you help me with it? Hey, Mom. Hey, Dad, can you float me some money? Can you float me some money? I'll write you a check. I'll post date it. Can you float me some? Knowing that they're never going to be good on it. So dive in and talk more about the reality of what it means to not have health insurance versus you feel like you're freaking select quote. Get out of being select quote. Get out of being Chat GPT on life insurance. Your job is not to explain or to teach life. Your job is to simply find out if you die without a death benefit, what's going to happen to your family. And then when you feel satisfied that you've uncovered not the need they tell you, but the real need, then here's what I want you to get good at doing. Writing an application is no big deal. Writing an application is not making a decision to buy life insurance. Writing an application, you don't need a birth certificate. You don't need a note signed by your parents. You don't need the hair of a frog's ass. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said it. You don't need this stuff. Here, writing an application is simply saying, hey, let me help you get your application in order and let's send it in to the life insurance company. Let's see if they'll approve you. Once they approve you, that'll be a really good time to decide, make your final decision, how much life insurance you want, what can you actually afford. I'd rather you go down than up. But we do have the ability to make adjustments once the approval's made. So just be careful that you're not making too big a deal out of the process. And I really do think it will help you.